Hi everyone. Hey everyone, can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Same here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
Sure. Yeah, we can hear you,
Yeah,
Lewis.
perfect. All right, sorry.
I can hear you too.
All right, amazing. Cool. So yeah, hello everyone. Welcome to All Devs number 26. I guess it's I mean 26 times 2 is 52, so I guess it's like a year for All Devs today or I mean, if it's the case, happy birthday, all devs. If that's not the case, happy birthday anyway. Um, yeah, welcome to everyone. Hope you had a great weekend and the past 2 weeks, hopefully too. We'll think about that soon during the updates. And on the discussion side, in the agenda today, we're pretty light. So feel free to add something if we have some time left during the call in the agenda. Yeah, I think that's it. And so before we start, just a few points. First thing is that we'll have Berlin Blockchain Week at the end of August, and I know that some Aragon contributors will be there, and it would be an awesome time to meet between Flock team and Nest teams and broader community members to do like some creative things, share on deep topics on Aragon, and have fun together. So there's a chat for that, a channel in the Rocket chat. Um, the name of the challenge is Berlin. If you want the link to the channel, you can find it. Just ping me on Keybase or here in the chat in the Jitsi chat. I can share it. Also, a quick reminder that AGP proposals are due on Thursday, and that if you guys want to catch up on these, I really recommend the John's post on the Network Vote 3 mega thread, summing up the different proposals that are currently proposed for this network vote. And finally, I'd like to congratulate the Mesh team for the new CLI version that was released earlier this week. I saw that Brett mentioned that on the dev channel in the Rocket chat. So looking forward to hearing more about these guys during the updates. Um, Cool. That's what I wanted to say. And so maybe we can just like, I don't know if anybody is willing to take notes this week. If anybody is craving to write for a few minutes. Otherwise, I will pick someone. But if you guys are into take notes, I don't know. um,
I'll do it. Yalda here.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you, Yelda. And maybe someone else. All right.
I can do it.
Yep.
Yeah, I can do it, Gabi.
All right. Thank you so much, Gabby. It sounds like you take notes like every week, every all devs or almost. Cool. Another thing. Do we have any newcomers on the all devs? I'm not sure. Last time, Jordan from Frame attended the old devs. I don't know if he's there again, but and I'm not sure either that it was the first time that Jordan did attend. But otherwise, like if if Jordan is there and willing um to do a quick intro, or would be amazing. But otherwise, we'll just move on. All right, all right. All right, then let's move on to the updates. We have approximately 27 minutes to do that, and so we can start with Aragon 1.
Yep. I can give the update, and then I'll ping Jorge as well for some more news on the network side. The Aragon client is progressing. We're now more or less full steam ahead on 0.8. Pierre is still working mostly on the design system. We're basically hoping to get that out because that's blocking the rest of the development for 0.8. But progress has looked really, really good. We basically are, there's one big component called the data view, which is kind of the new table component. So Pierre's been working a lot on that, and hopefully we'll have a very, or like close to stable build of Aragon UI soon, and released on NPM, so other people can start using that as is without having to link it and do etc. But yeah, mostly our efforts are focused on implementing the front end changes. We are also doing a couple of contract related work in the background. The templates are perhaps getting refactored. So Faku has been working on this and is going to be primarily focused on it this week. And that hopefully will make it much easier for people to build templates. Right now, the DAO kits repo and the base kit and things like that are a little bit difficult to work with, or just like kind of confusing or not as nice as they could be. So we're looking to get those changed and have new templates deployed for the 0.8 release, so we can support a lot more templates in that release. And then aside from that, we've been working on some changes for payroll based on the audit that came back from Consensus.
Cool.
Yep. And yeah, Jorge, if you wanted to chime in for the network.
Yeah, on the network side, we've been focusing on the last big features that the court has, namely the final appeal round with all the jurors voting, and the subscription fee for organizations that want to use the court. Both of those features are going pretty well. They're almost in states that they can be merged. And after this, we have some work to polish some things that were done before, but progress is looking good.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Thank you guys for the update on Aragon 1 side. Maybe now we can have Autark updating us.
Yep. Hi. So yeah, over the past 2 weeks, we've continued the audit engagement. This has been our primary focus, and a lot of the other work has been influenced by that. We completed the internal audit changes for address book and rewards and have handed those over, and those are currently being audited. We'll have obviously another review period once we get those back and make further changes. The project's internal audit has been begun. And all of the standard bounties changes have been handled, and projects is almost ready to hand over. Should be about next week. We're moving into finalizing dot voting so that we can begin the internal audit of that. And we've continued into front-end cleanup changes related to our front-end audits, including major cleanup to projects and the dot voting front ends. Thanks to Chad, we've removed a lot of lines of code in both of those repos. We're still working on closing PRs related to external transaction intents. Oh, also this is for Autark and Owl. So we're doing a joint update right now since a lot of the stuff that we're working on has some overlap at this point. We're working on identity provider strategies with Aragon Client and Aragon JS. There's still some work that needs to be done in terms of like solidifying the strategy here and figuring out how we're distributing that work. But our target now is to have this ready for the release in like mid-August. So we're moving this back a little bit, but we think that works better for everybody. So that should be good. We have a proof of concept working for contextual discussions in dot voting, and that just needs some more work in terms of like building out modules that it's easier for developers to integrate and getting sign off on all of the designs and everything. And then the profile node module is still a work in progress. So that's it from us and Owl, and we'll pass it on to Mesh.
Thank you so much.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. If someone want to take notes, that would be cool. From our side, the last 2 weeks, we've been focusing mostly in trying to release a new version of the CLI. We make 2 major changes to the CLI toolings. We first decouple IPFS as a dependency in the Aragon CLI. So now, when you want to use the Aragon CLI, you need to install it manually with a command that we use, the Aragon IPFS install. And we also have 2 new commands in IPFS, the Aragon IPFS uninstall and Aragon IPFS status. In this way, all the dependencies are going to be much it's going to be less size for the CLI, and it's going to install more quickly, and it also will be more reliable and not dependent of so many on others packages like like IPFS that was giving us some headaches the last few weeks. Because when you are going to install with Aragon IPFS, you have the option to select a hash from where to get the binaries. So we can, for example, pin that binary into the Aragon node and be sure that is always available. Then we also make an improvement in the Aragon Package Manager publish command. This will allow you to output the information that you are going to be published in the repo before you publish it in the repo itself. And we also include the option to propagate the content if you want, so you are able to distribute your releases more easily with the same command. And you are also able to configure a new pre-published script to being able to run it every time before publishing your dependency, your repos. You can try it with the npm install nightly version, and here are the more general change log of the between the versions. Then our focus for the next 2 weeks is going to be adding documentation and tests to these new changes, so we can make it a stable version. We also are going to prioritize start working on new features, and this will be most likely better UX for changing the gas price, finishing some of the work with the HEP28 test, and maybe include also a new template for deploying an organization with that have a registrar with a custom registrar that you want to implement. And we also are going to start working towards the CLI extensions. That this is something we've been really looking forward to start working, and maybe also join forces with some of the other teams like Aragon Black. That is something this CLI extension will allow to include new commands for different apps that you will need, and will be able to run it in the CLI like other commands. And yeah, we will even that's it. Yeah, and we will also be reviewing the next IGPs in the next couple of weeks. So really looking forward for the next AMB. Thanks.
Cool. Awesome. That's a lot of things. Congratulations to you guys. Keep up the good work. That's amazing. Yeah, maybe we can move on and have Aragon Black updating us after this great update from Mesh.
Sorry, Cenk, I guess it's our turn, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, guys, my connection is still super shitty. So yeah, what's new on the side? Luis and Louis were at Trend last week, and it was awesome. Also, because like talking with them, we decided to open 2 new positions in the dev team. They should be published soon. I'll let you know, because if you know anyone who is super excited about Aragon and already know the framework a little and all, please feel free to send them to us. That will be awesome. So one will be a Solidity position, the other one will be a UX and React position. So that being said, on most contract and the controller and stuff like that, everything's fine. It's mostly like some small optimization comments. And I started opening the PR to patch it and to fix it, so it should be done by the end of the week. The only contract which is a little more trickier, it's the market maker one, because of the batching system, which is not really like there's not really a bug inside it, but the way it works for now and the articulation with the tap might lead to some rough edge cases where we could have some problem, because basically we wait for all the orders to be passed to compute the actual price of the bounds. And so in the meanwhile, some stuff could have happened in the batch and stuff like that, in the tap and stuff like that. So it's kind of a mess. So I've been doing some research this weekend, and I think I came up with a solution which will be way more interesting, especially because it would allow us to introduce some new features like control of the price slippage. So you could say, okay, I'm configuring my batching system so that the price over a batch won't evolve of more than, I don't know, 5% or 10%, which is interesting for lots of reasons. So I already synced with Billy about that. It should be finally signed, and I have a call with the auditors tomorrow to make sure that this new implementation is the right one, and we can start actually working on it. So yeah, basically patching everything will be done in the end of the week, and for the batching system, maybe 1 more week, I guess, to work on it. The front end side is mostly done. Basically, Dean has been working closely with Patty and Pierre to implement the latest design system. So basically re-implement the front end to implement the latest design system. Still waiting for a couple of updates to be pushed, and otherwise it will be okay. And on the background scripts, we had some issue with our former devs. So Xavier is taking it from now on. We had some working session last week. It's already moved well, especially did some research and some taken some leave as finally as possible. So yeah, the roadmap for now is to have the Winkeby version published by the beginning of August, basically along the 0.8 version or just after. And yes, mainnets are sure as soon as we are sure that the feedback are good and there are no issues. So yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Olivier, for that. That's great. I will give a quick update on what's been happening at the association in the past 2 weeks on my side to close the updates. So we've been working with Olivier and Luis last week in Rennes, and we also um, um, worked in coordination with Yalda and the Autark team on the ANT packages for Flock teams. There's a forum post on the forum about that, and we would be happy to have some feedback and on this topic. Basically, we've been discussing about how to determine ANT packages for Flock teams when they apply to the Flock program, and what rationale should be used to back these packages. It's a pretty tricky topic for different reasons. And so I invite you to just like check in and read the post about that. That would be nice. That's nice if everybody knows a bit more about that, including to judge on ANT packages when Flock teams come up with a proposal. Um, there's also the Nest budget AGP that we've posted on the forum too, which is asking for a new budget for Nest in Q3, because the current Nest budget is almost drying up, and Nest will need new funds to run properly, and there are a few exciting proposals in the pipeline. We also have a Nest related thing that should become an AGP, probably an association track AGP, where we're proposing the kind of DAOification of Nest into a DAO. I will try to update the spec for the DAO ASAP and post it on the forum. But basically, the Nest DAO would be in charge of judging on grant allocation and the selection of Nest grantees. And in this new process, the Aragon Association will just act as a facilitator, and the membership to the Nest DAO that is judging on applications will be open to Nest team members, Flock team members, and other community members. So feel free to ping me about that, and I will share more soon on the forum, as proposals are due on Thursday, so we're in a rush. And soon I hope to be able to update you more about working groups. They've been increasingly needed in the network. People have been coordinating efforts across teams on product. Dev matters, also like strategy matters, and also like onboarding and business development. This has been happening like kind of in the background or in the shadows for up until now. But John from A1 had this idea about implementing working groups something like a year ago, and I will help him implement that now, because like we see an rapidly increasing need for working groups to basically work around different topics across teams, which sounds super exciting. And that thing is, we've started a buyback for ANT. Stefano has posted a message on the Rocket chat about that, and he's taking care of this project. basically ANT is highly undervalued. Plus, the liquidity is pretty low, and yeah, the value of the network in terms of ANT is like much lower than what we have as a treasury, which doesn't really make sense. So we are starting a buyback because we think that ANTs will be used pretty well at the association as we're kind of spending it in active to and sending that to active contributors to Flock Nest and possibly other programs and projects. So we're doing that too, and that's what we've been up to in the past 2 weeks. So now we're done with the updates, and we can move on to I guess the topics and discussions. I don't know if yeah, okay, got it. Yeah, we have topics. I see that someone is writing another one, but basically, the first topic we had is updating app parameters from the UI. Um, that's a topic I've added to the list as I've seen that were kind of short on topics this week or like pretty light. Basically, that's an issue that came up when we were discussing the Dandelion org's proposal that Luke from A1 submitted as a Nest proposal, and where basically some of the apps add parameters that, of course, I mean, up until now, like any app in the Aragon ecosystem, parameters need to be updated through the CLI. And so we were genuinely asking if it was interesting to. It would be interesting to have the parameters in the UI, and we had the discussion with Luke, who said that it should be probably something that could be coordinated at the Flock program level among teams to set a standard for displaying parameters in the UI. And he also noted that it's a topic that we should probably take care about like a bit. I mean, that's not for now. That's what he suggested, but just wanted to bring it on the table and have your thoughts on this topic and possibly like in terms of what would make sense and if we want to keep that for later or if we want to just chat about that now. I'm willing to take I don't know the advice. I don't know if you guys I've understood the problem as I've said it. Per, yeah, I
There
don't
is
know.
one small clarification is that the parameters is not yet implemented in the CLI. It's going to be something we need to do as well.
So yeah, I mean, in terms of, are you talking about like in terms of the app that you're building for the Dandelion orgs, or?
No, I mean in the Aragon CLI, it's not able to configure parameters in the
Got it.
ACL.
Oh, got it. Okay, got it. Then
One other clarification there, just on the topic of the CLI, you can use the exec command to set things like changing the support or quorum in the voting app or changing the budget period in the finance app. So that's already possible using the CLI. So while we don't have a way to do parameters on the ACL yet, in terms of like being able to change parameters of apps that haven't implemented a UI for certain settings, that's already possible using the DAO exec command.
all right, got it,
Okay.
got it. Okay, got it. Then I don't know if that's because that's a topic I'm really not an expert on, but I just thought it could be interesting to have it on the table. I don't know if there's an interest um, to have that. I mean, basically have parameters in the UI in the near term. Otherwise, we can just like move on and take the next topic.
Yeah, we can discuss this briefly as well in terms of what our thinking is at A1 in regards to these app parameters. There's a couple of ways to go about this, and we've been toying with the idea of having like a settings app, very similar, I guess, in philosophy to the iOS settings app, where you can see application-specific settings all grouped under this one place. So we've been thinking about some of that and how we could make that manageable for app developers to both declare what settings are available and what needs to happen for users to change them. So it just comes with the client. But we haven't really gone too far down this road, and it's something the design team is working on solidifying after 0.8.
Got it. Yeah, sounds super useful, to be honest. Cool. Thanks, Brett, for the update on that. Then we have another topic, which is merging pool and agent from Aragon Black.
Yes, so basically we have been working on this pool app for the fundraising application, and basically the pool contract is an agent contract like the regular one as it already exists, with only a couple of tweaks to maintain a list of protected tokens and introduce a function which is called the safe execute function, which basically does the same as the execute functions to allow you to interact with external contracts, but just make sure that the balances of this protected token are not modified during the external transaction. And that's it. Basically, otherwise it's just an agent app. So we talked about it very, very quickly with Brett on the chat, and I was wondering if it would make sense to merge the pool app in the agent app, because it's just an additional feature which could make sense even for the agent if it wants to keep some token for some reason. And yeah, how much sense it makes to keep it as a separated app, given that it's just an upgrade of the agent app in the end. So I don't know, you guys, what you think?
I wholeheartedly agree with this. As we talked internally, I was like, there's no reason somebody would install the agent app if they had the pool app, because the pool app is just more functionality. So there's not much point in not having that functionality. I think the question is like, how do we go about doing this? And that's just where the conversation has stopped. Like we have a couple versions of the agent app on mainnet now. I think we're on version 3 already, and it's, I guess right now, kind of unclear if we want to wait a little bit longer for some of the specs to solidify, namely EIP 1271 for the signature signing, or if like whatever, we just add this new functionality in and publish it as a version 4, and ask APRE to switch the contract to just be the agent app instead of creating a custom pool app.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's up to you guys. I'm like the PR to update the pool based on the audit feedback, and the internal A1 feedback is going to be ready probably by tomorrow, or I have lots of call tomorrow, so top by Wednesday. So once it's done, I mean, it's up to you and the decision we take. Either I can just keep it as a separate application to make it easier, or I can just fork and open a pull request in the agent repo. It's really up to you. I don't know. If we do that, I just need to make sure that the way the additional data are declared is not going to collapse the existing storage of the agent, the former agent application. Is there some upgrade? But otherwise, it's really up to you. Obviously, we will need it. If we do that, we will need it deployed by like August, when we publish to Inkeby. Otherwise, we can just use the custom pool app, separate app for Inkeby, and then when we go to mainnet, discuss it again if we merge an agent. I don't know, it depends on you, what time you have to review the PR, what sense you make with respect to the already installed agent app, as you feel.
Yeah, I'm not super worried about the reviewing. I mean, both Falcon and I have looked at the changes, and they are like very good. It's, I guess, yeah, it's mostly like I was saying a question of when we should redeploy it. I don't know, Jorge, Faku, or other people on this chat, if you've been keeping up to date with EIP 1271 and think it's like soon or like like far away in terms of that thing being more standardized. And if not, then if it's not close at all, then I think we can just merge this and kind of declare it final for now.
Yeah, I haven't followed the IP closely for a long time, but I think we should just go for it. Wouldn't wait until the IP is finalized. And regarding merging the pool and into like the pool functionality into agent, I totally support that as well.
One question too, Oliver, on this is that I'm wondering how the front end looks for fundraising. So the good thing about having it as the pool is that it's very clear in documentation that it's like this is the pool because you've named the app pool versus the agent. And I'm wondering if that will confuse people more than it will help, or if it like makes even more sense for this to be called the agent, and it just means like it's much more clear that people are holding funds in this and they can vote with this and etc.
Yes, actually, there is no front end for the pool because we needed to rely on different underlying contracts. We basically made an API contracts. We just forward the calls to the right ones. So the only way to access the pool is through the controller contract for now, given how the permissions are set. So there is no front end dedicated to the pool as such. We read the balance and all for the market maker front end directly. But you have no way to directly interact and initiate a transaction from within this contract. Basically, we're like, okay, let's wait for the agent to have a front end and let's copy it. One of the reasons I came back with the idea of merging is because I saw the great work that has been done on by the Frame on using the agent app as directly to interact by using it in your signer. I don't know if it will be the same if we basically publish another app with another name. I don't know how it's working internally, if it's just calling an interface or if it's looking for agent.aragonpm.et addresses in the kernel. So I was like, okay, if we merge the pool and the agent, then people can actually use the pool contracts to vote on external DAO by using the Frame signer, and it will be super easy. And actually, the idea of the pool and this ability to have some self-execute functions to say, okay, let's give a chance to people to use the cartel in the pool to vote, especially in Aragon network vote. So if this can integrate with Frame, it would be awesome. I think so. So it won't be a problem for the front end for the pool app because there are none. Basically, everything goes through the fundraising front end. So the pool does not even appear in the left panel. Only the permissions front end, and yeah, it will help maybe integrating it with Frame. So
right, yeah. So I asked this because we also plan to release front end for the agent app fairly soon, and the App Center will now display the agent app instead of the pool app.
Yeah, but I think it will be a problem because when it comes to knowing how much there is in the pool app for the fundraising purposes, it's already displayed in the fundraising front end, and so people don't even care to know it's an agent app or a pool app. I mean, from the fundraising front end, they already have the information like how many collateral there are and stuff like that. And then if they want to use it as an agent, then it's fine to use the agent app. And on the front-end side, introducing a way to use a safe execute function on the agent will be basically exactly the same design because it's the same parameter except that you can't pass any value, any Ethereum value. So.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like we should start thinking about merging the two of them, and that way as well we can get Frame to bundle perhaps the safe execute button or action by default. If you're not like trying to do token transfers and things like that.
Sounds good. The only issue if we do that is to decide what are going to be the token prevented by default, like protected by default. In our case, in the pool case, it's simple because it's like the collateral token, so you can configure them. In the case of the generic agent app, I'm not sure. It's like way trickier, especially since we have to put a limit on how many tokens there are, because we have to loop over the tokens to check their balances at the end of the contract execution, the external transaction execution. So for sure we can't loop over like 100 100 tokens. So yes, we will need to take a decision for that. But I mean,
Yeah, I think those as well can be perhaps hidden features from the get-go, in the UI side at least, and then we can maybe think about adding something along the lines of settings or another panel for that. I mean, having the safe execute button is or code is strictly better than not having it, even if you don't protect any tokens yet.
yeah, that's my point too. So okay, maybe we can start coordinating on Keybase once I have pushed the update from your side, guys, and see how we could achieve that.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks.
Perfect. Perfect. We're in time. For now, I don't know if anyone wants to add something for today.
I would like to mention that if you like to try these commands that we introduced, yeah, and give us feedback, that would be awesome.
Thanks a lot, Gabby. We'll definitely do that. And if there's no one else who wants to bring up anything, I think we're good for today. Thanks a lot to everyone for joining for this 26th All Dev, and we'll see each other in 2 weeks then. And yeah, have a great week everyone, and please submit your proposals before Thursday if you want to. Bye bye, guys.
Ciao.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.